That tube of antibiotic ointment in your medicine cabinet, the one you reach for every time someone in your house gets a small cut, scrape, or burn. Do you know what's actually in it? Most people assume if it's sold specifically for wound care, it must be the best option available. But many conventional healing ointments contain synthetic preservatives, petroleum jelly, and in some cases, ingredients linked to antibiotic resistance with overuse. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to make a wound healing salve at home using calendula, one of the most well-documented, natural healing herbs available, safe enough to use, on your family and even your pets. Let's talk about why the medicine cabinet standard isn't always the best option. The first issue is petroleum jelly, the base of most conventional ointments. Petroleum jelly forms an occlusive barrier that seals in moisture, but it sits entirely on top of the skin rather than delivering any active healing properties. It does nothing to actually support the healing process underneath. The second issue is that some over-the-counter antibiotic ointments are now being used far more frequently than necessary for minor scrapes that don't actually need antibiotics at all. And public health experts have raised genuine concerns about this contributing to antibiotic resistance over time. For small, everyday cuts and scrapes, most people don't actually need an antibiotic. They need something that genuinely supports the skin's own healing process. Beyond that, many petroleum-based ointments also contain added fragrance or dye that serves no healing function whatsoever. And on already irritated or broken skin, those additions can occasionally cause more irritation rather than less. The exact opposite of what you want from a product meant to help you heal. Here's what actually works. Our formula is built around calendula-infused oil. Calendula is a flower that has been used in traditional herbal medicine for centuries, specifically for wound healing. And modern research has genuinely supported its anti-inflammatory and skin-repairing properties. We infuse dried calendula petals into a carrier oil to extract those beneficial compounds, then combine that infused oil with beeswax for a protective barrier and coconut oil for additional antibacterial support. Vitamin E oil rounds it out with antioxidant properties that support the skin's natural repair process. This formula is completely free of essential oils, making it genuinely safe for the whole family, including pets who might lick a treated paw or a child who might touch a treated scrape. 4 ingredients, 1 healing herb, and a salve that actually supports the skin rather than just sitting on top of it. Here's everything you'll need. First, dried calendula petals. Half a cup, or about 10 grams. Look for these at health food stores or online. Make sure they're specifically labeled for culinary or medicinal use. Second, a carrier oil for infusing, such as olive oil or sweet almond oil. 1 cup, or 240 ml. This is what extracts the beneficial compounds from the calendula petals. Third, beeswax pellets. 2 tablespoons, or 28 grams. This creates the protective barrier once the salve is finished. Fourth, vitamin E oil. 1 teaspoon, or 5 ml. This supports the healing process and extends shelf life. You'll also need a small saucepan or double boiler, a fine mesh strainer or cheesecloth, a heat-safe glass bowl, a small spatula, and a clean, wide-mouth glass jar for storage. Step 1. Infuse your calendula oil. Combine half a cup of dried calendula petals and 1 cup of carrier oil in a small saucepan. Warm gently over the lowest possible heat setting for about 2 hours, stirring occasionally, never allowing the oil to simmer or bubble. Low, slow heat is essential here. High heat can destroy the beneficial compounds you're trying to extract from the flowers. If you have the time, an even gentler alternative is a slow infusion over 1 to 2 weeks at room temperature in a sunny windowsill. Shaking the jar daily, this preserves even more of the delicate plant compounds, though the stovetop method works beautifully if you need your oil ready the same day. Step 2. Strain your infused oil. Once the 2 hours are up, remove the pan from the heat and let the oil cool slightly. Strain the mixture through a fine mesh strainer lined with cheesecloth into a clean bowl, pressing gently to extract as much of the golden, calendula-infused oil as possible. Discard the spent petals. Step 3. Melt your beeswax. Set up your double boiler and add 2 tablespoons of beeswax pellets to a heat-safe glass bowl. Melt gently over simmering water, stirring occasionally until completely liquid with no remaining pellets. Step 4. Combine your oils. Add your strained calendula-infused oil to the melted beeswax and stir until completely combined into a smooth, uniform liquid. The mixture will be a beautiful golden color from the calendula infusion. Step 5. Add your vitamin E oil. Remove the bowl from the heat and stir in 1 teaspoon of vitamin E oil. Mix thoroughly until fully incorporated throughout the formula. Step 6. Pour and set. Carefully pour the warm mixture into your clean, wide-mouth glass jar. Let it cool and set completely at room temperature for about 2 hours or until it has solidified into a firm, balm-like consistency. Once set, cap tightly and your salve is ready to use. Pro tip number 1. Always clean a cut or scrape thoroughly with soap and water before applying this or any salve. The salve supports healing but doesn't replace proper wound cleaning, which remains the most important first step for any injury, however minor. Pro tip number 2. Apply a thin layer 2 to 3 times a day on minor cuts, scrapes, or dry, irritated skin. A little goes a long way. You don't need a thick layer for this formula to be effective, and a thin application allows the skin to breathe while still being protected. Pro tip number 3. Shelf life. Because this formula contains no synthetic preservatives, it will last about 6 to 8 weeks stored at room temperature away from direct sunlight. Write the date on your jar. If it changes smell or texture, make a fresh batch. Pro tip number 4. This salve is genuinely safe to use on minor scrapes for your pets, including on paw pads or small nicks from grooming. Since it contains no essential oils, it carries none of the toxicity concerns that many other natural remedies do for cats and dogs. Pro tip number 5. For wounds that are deep, show signs of infection, or aren't improving within a few days, always consult a medical professional or veterinarian. This salve is designed to support healing on minor, everyday cuts and scrapes, not to replace proper medical care when it's genuinely needed. Pro tip number 6. Keep a small jar of this salve in your bag, car, or first aid kit for on-the-go application. Because it's a solid, balm-like consistency rather than a liquid, it travels well without leaking, and it's genuinely useful to have on hand for scraped knees at the park or small kitchen burns. Pro tip number 7. If your dried calendula petals are hard to find locally, growing your own is surprisingly simple. Calendula is a fast-growing, low-maintenance flower that thrives in most climates, and you can dry your own petals at home for future batches, making this an ingredient you never have to run out of. And that is your homemade natural wound healing salve. Gentle, genuinely supportive, and safe for the whole family, pets included. 4 ingredients, 1 healing herb, and a salve you can actually feel confident reaching for after every small scrape. If you want to keep building your natural self-care routine, the next video is going to show you how to make a natural body scrub at home. Deeply exfoliating, moisturizing, and completely free of microplastics and synthetic fragrance. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. And leave me a comment below. Do you keep a first aid kit stocked at home? See you in the next one.